Hey guys, and happy Wednesday. Today is a bittersweet day because this is the last episode of season one of the Graduated and Grown podcast. And I just want to start off this episode first by saying thank you guys so much for listening and supporting and sharing this podcast. I want to say the emotional stuff for the end of the podcast, but it has been a joy going on this journey with you guys. I have learned a lot and I've been able to connect with some really, really amazing people because of this podcast. So thank you guys for listening. That has been my weekly motivation. But today's episode is kind of like a commencement speech or like a goodbye, a see you later, but like motivation to see you in that next season. So today's episode's actually dedicated specifically to the class of 2021. I think this message is definitely applicable to all young adults, especially those of us who like literally just entered into the real world. But again, it's specifically for the class of 2021. So if you know of any soon to be graduates, whether they're graduating in May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, whenever they're graduating, be sure to direct them to this episode because we're going to talk about some important life lessons that you'll learn and you should know about before really transitioning into a life after college. And hopefully this also encourages you and gives you some motivation as you prepare to go into that next phase of life. So without further ado, let's get into the final episode of season one of the Graduating Grown podcast, where we break down life after college. I don't know about you, but I think adulting is hard. Figuring out your love life, finances, friendships, professional life, health, and how to make a freaking doctor's appointment on your own can be so overwhelming sometimes. So, welcome to Graduated and Grown, a podcast that's focused on helping you and me overcome the struggles of adulting. Let's have some fun yet honest conversations about life once you're graduated and grown. I should be really cringy right now and start singing the graduation song. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, yeah, that's enough. That was off tune. I apologize. Literally, whenever I hear that song, I get emotional, especially last year. Since we didn't have a proper graduation, I was very emotional hearing that song. Anyway, congratulations to the class of 2021. You literally have completed the first phase of adulting, right? College is one of the most common introductions into adulting. Like, I'll say for me, for example, I didn't go to a boarding school, so I lived at home my entire life, right? In August of 2016, I packed up a van. My family took me down to Huntsville, Alabama, and took me to a school that I had only been to maybe twice before. And they dropped me off. They left a couple of days later, and my new life began. From that moment on, I was responsible for keeping up with my academic work. I wouldn't have my mom over my shoulder asking me about homework. I was responsible for having a social life and balancing that with all the activities that I was involved in. I was responsible for the money that my family would send me each month because it was a set amount. I couldn't just say, hey, can I have an extra $300? I kind of want to do this. Now, sometimes if it was like a special occasion, maybe I could get a little bit more cash. But what I was given, I had to work with. That was literally my first phase of adulting. And congratulations, you just completed that a couple days ago, or maybe you're completing it in a week. College is honestly an amazing experience. And even though there's a lot of highs and lows, like, you guys know, I always say college is like a roller coaster. It's literally some of the best years of your life. And it helped you become who you are today. And it was kind of like one of the foundational steps into becoming who you are going to be longer term. And some people didn't have the same experience as me. Some of you guys went out of the country to go to your college. Some of you guys, went to the colleges in your hometown or up the street. And some of you guys ended up going to college part-time, working like several full-time jobs while you're staying at home. And it doesn't even matter how you did it, when you did it, or how long it took you to do it. At the end of the day, you did that. And I am so proud of the class of 2021 and the class of 2020. 2020, you guys know how I feel about you. Like, I am one of you. We really did that thing. But class of 2021, I'm also super proud of you. You guys were able to complete your last year in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of a political climate like no other, and just so much more. So, congratulations to you. You deserve to go into this next phase of life with a smile on your face, in my personal opinion. And another thing I like to think about is like the fact that college is literally not easy. No matter what your major is, I know a lot of people like to make jokes about the communication majors, but we had to put in the work too. Like, even though I didn't have to memorize how many veins are in the human body and how many bones are in the human body, or I didn't have to figure out how to teach math to a third grader. I had to put in a lot of work for that communication degree, and I had to put in a lot of work for that business degree. Okay. So your degree is just as equal as mine, which is just as equal as your roommates. Okay. But let's just take a second and think about all the different things that we had to endure during college. Like the cafeteria food, y'all. I love Snapchat memories because it just reminds me of the things that I went through. The cafeteria food on the good days and the bad days, right? Those failed friendships, the friendships that caused you a little stress. Maybe you even cried about it, but also those beautiful friendships that you know you're going to have after graduation and the ones that you know you're going to have for the rest of your life. Those sleepless nights and stressful days, but at the same time, you also had those amazing nights and beautiful days. You had a lot of those stubborn college professors, the ones that didn't want to take your homework, the ones that graded according to their mood. But you also had those amazing professors that actually cared about their students, wanted them to succeed, and everything like that. And even through the midst of that college roller coaster, we did it, right? We gained lifelong partners and friends. We gained amazing memories and crazy stories that we can't wait to tell our kids. And some of us also gained some thicker skin because you kind of had to if you wanted to pass a certain class. And maybe we even gained just a little bit of knowledge about the field that we went into college to study. Okay. Maybe I might be an entry level expert in my field that I studied. Maybe, just maybe. But yeah, college literally was a roller coaster. There were some amazing moments, and then there were some really low moments that you wish you could forget. But I promise you, once you get off that roller coaster ride, your life is going to change forever. And I know that sounds scary, but at the same time, it's completely okay. So get ready to step into probably one of the most scary, yet exciting, yet confusing, yet adventurous, yet I could keep going, but get ready to step into post grad life. So let's talk about life after college, right? By the time you're listening to this, either you're preparing to graduate in a few days or a few weeks, or you already graduated a couple of days or weeks ago, or maybe you're graduating later this year. And I'll be honest with you. Yes, I'm gonna be honest with you. Your life after college, in all honesty, probably will not look like how you thought it would look. I think I've talked about this in a prior episodes, but prior to COVID, I had this whole vision for my life, right? I knew where I was going to work. So I was like, I'm going to be living in this downtown high rise that has like a modern look and feel to it. I'm going to be hanging out with my new friends and my boyfriend on the weekends. I'm going to be traveling across the US to visit college and my high school friends, going out of the country when I can, and literally thriving in every way possible. Well, my listeners, I'm sorry to tell you, but that is not how my life looks right now. Okay. Like, I probably see my boyfriend once a month, once every 6 weeks, probably. I haven't seen some of my college friends since March of 2020, some January of 2021. I don't know when the next time I'll see them will be. I'm still living in my small, slightly crowded childhood bedroom with my family literally feet away. They could probably hear me recording this episode right now. And in all honesty, I normally don't leave the house unless I absolutely have to, or if I just need like a mental break and I need a change of scenery. And I promise you, senior year, Ariane, I probably would have laughed if you would have told me that this is what my life was going to look like. I wouldn't believe you. I would say, there's no way I've prepared for this. There's no way that would happen to me. But guess what? It did. And senior year, Ariane wouldn't have guessed that literally a global pandemic would kill millions of people worldwide, ruin millions of families, and cause millions of people to be unemployed for months, and just so much. And I would have never even guessed that the world would be on pause for several months, and my post grad life would be on pause as well. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that, but hey, guess what? That's literally what happened. And I had to roll with the punches, adjust my life, and that's literally what you're going to have to do as well. And I mean, if you know me or if you pay attention to my social media, you can tell I'm a pretty upbeat and optimistic person, like to have fun and all that stuff. But I think it's important, and I don't want you to forget that you're literally preparing to go into the real world, right? And let me tell you something about my girl, the real world. The real world has been around for years, and she is a world renowned gold medalist boxer with billions of medals. When I tell you billions, trust me, billions of medals. And so that's the first life lesson I want to tell you guys about. Literally, life is going to throw you curveballs and occasionally punch you in the face. But don't let those curveballs and those bruises stop you from reaching your goals. I forgot what song it is, but there's some song that says, oh, it's a gospel song, and it says, nobody told me the road would be easy, but I, some. But yeah, no one ever told you that life was going to be easy. If your parents told you that, I'm sorry, but they're wrong. Life is not going to be easy whatsoever. There are going to be curveballs and punches in your face. And I know, like, we see these people on social media and TV and maybe even in our personal lives, and they seem to have this perfect and like issueless life. But I promise you that's not reality. Literally, everyone is struggling with something. Some of us are struggling financially. Some of us are struggling mentally. Some of us are going to experience pain. Some of us are even going to feel purposeless at one point or multiple points of our life. But I really just want to remind you that you are literally fully capable of achieving anything and everything that you put your heart, your mind, your soul, and your hands to, right? Hands is key, right? So again, life is going to throw curveballs, and I promise you it's going to punch you in the face. But when it does that, take some time to heal. Okay. Re-up like you do in the video games, get that backpack, get the medicine, re-up, and then get right back into the game. And you know what? My healing might take years, right? My healing might take years. Your healing might take days, and my cousin's healing might take months. However long it takes you to heal, go through that process and then get right back on your grind. And I think that brings me to the second life lesson that I want to talk to you about. Your life journey is going to look completely different from my life journey. So don't compare yourself to me, and vice versa. I shouldn't compare myself to you. And I know that's going to be difficult, right? Because I think I've talked about this in an episode as well. It's hard not to compare yourself, especially in the age of social media, but you can do it. And again, I love social media. I think it's great, but I also think there are some downsides to it. And I think it can be really draining sometimes. Like, I'm seeing 18 and 22-year-olds buying houses, getting these custom luxury cars, and going on my dream vacations. And that can be really draining sometimes. Or seeing people that just graduated from college always hanging out with their friends, going to Tulum and doing all these fun things while I'm in my bed on TikTok and haven't seen a young person in like 5 weeks. Like, that must be nice. And so we all have different paths and journeys, and no two people will ever experience the same thing. So it's not fair for you to compare yourselves to others, even your siblings, even though you and your siblings may have grown up in the same household, you're going to have a different path from your sister, from your brother, you know? And so I think if you struggle with comparison, take some time off of social media, talk to a therapist, try journaling, participate in some self-love affirmations. I know that's like a trend right now, self-love affirmations. And remember, social media is literally not real. So do not depend on it. People do not post their struggles. I don't care who they are. They are not being completely transparent about what they're going through. And it's completely okay if you're living with your parents several months or a couple years after graduating from college. If that's something that you don't want to do or you can't do, you don't have to. Don't let society pressure you into doing things that you're not ready to or not able to do. If I were to like let society like pick my life right now, I would be living outside of my family home. I would probably have a Tesla. I would probably go on luxurious vacations 3 times a year. What else would I be doing? I don't know. I would be drinking matcha and turmeric tea every day and coffee. Like, that is not me. My journey is different from my girl Emma Chamberlain's journey, and I cannot compare her life to mine. That's not fair whatsoever. For life lesson number 3, I feel like I say this all the time, but community is so important. Whether your community has 20 people in it or just two, keep in touch with them. Life can feel extremely siloed if you're doing it all alone, trust me. Check in with those that you care about, whether you're close or not. It could be an acquaintance. It could have been that person in class that you relied on when you guys were studying for tests. So you can text, you can call, you can FaceTime, you can Marco Polo, you can house party, you can Snapchat them, whatever you can and want to do. And I know, and another thing that might motivate you to reach out to your community more is just know that it's not just helping you, it's also helping the person that you're reaching out to. The average person is literally struggling with something, right? And the average person doesn't tell most people what they're struggling with. Maybe outside, maybe they'll tell a few close friends, but some don't tell anybody, right? But you never know. That FaceTime call, that random text, that Snapchat selfie, that long Marco Polo video might make someone's day and turn it around in the best way possible. And I find that when I take time to connect with people, I feel so much better. I'm smiling, I'm laughing, making jokes. And trust me, this life lesson is key. I promise you. Like, I've had a couple phone conversations this week and I just feel so good. I have a lot going on right now. And, I could definitely feel stressed, but I feel like those endorphins or serotonin that I got from those conversations with the people that I've been able to talk to, both friends and acquaintances, has been amazing. So trust me, that this life lesson is key. And in all honesty, sometimes I do a pretty good job of keeping in contact with my community, but other times, maybe like right now, I know I need to do better and I don't. And when I don't, I definitely face the repercussions of my decisions. And I realize, yeah, Ariana, you need to do better. Like, call this person, text this person, email this person. And again, your community is a blessing, no matter how many people are in it. It doesn't have to be 20 people. It could be 5, it could be 2, it could be that one person that's considered your community. And also, your community, it could feature your family, it could feature friends, whether they're college, high school, or elementary school friends, friends that you made at work, or even internet friends. I feel like we don't talk about internet friends anymore, but I had internet friends. I don't know. What was his name? Oh, I don't remember his name. I think I still follow him on Instagram or Twitter. I'm gonna have to see if I'm gonna have to check and see how he's doing. But yeah, check in on your internet friends as well. You never know. I'm sorry, that just like really got me thinking, like, to the people that I never met in person, but I created a connection with. It's funny, I actually kind of felt like I could talk to them about certain things that I couldn't talk to the people that I knew, like, and saw face to face regularly. I think that's actually hilarious. Okay, let's get back on topic. Okay. After that little commercial break, I think the last life lesson that I want to talk about, and definitely is not the least, is dream big, take risks, and live in your 20s. I talked about this in episode 5, the one about the defining decade and why your 20s matter. Like, think about it. Our 20s are literally the most pivotal times in our lives. There are so many different changes that are getting ready to take place. And I mean, if you're class of 2021, you're experiencing that big one right now. You're getting ready to move back home, move to a new place, or stay in your college town, but be around different people. It's going to be so different. Like, the decisions you'll have to make, the amazing opportunities that are going to be in place in front of you, the new people that you're going to meet, it's going to be huge. And I don't want to say that to scare you, but it's going to be huge, trust me. And, this is our chance to make mistakes and try new things. Like, I don't know about you, but there are some things I personally really want to figure out before I have my 3 kids, Meadow, Aubrey, and Devin, and then also a husband depending on me every day as a wife and a mother. There's some things I want to figure out, and I want to make these mistakes before I have, more money and more people depending on me. I need to figure those out before I'm in that next level of life. Like, right now, it's only me dependent on me. So if I make a financial mistake, yeah, that's annoying. Yeah, that's frustrating, but I can bounce back eventually. I don't have to pay for daycare or private school for my kids. And I think as of lately, I've been seeing like literally a flood of tweets talking about like not letting your 9 to 5 ruin your life. I don't think I would say I'm a supporter of the idea of quitting your job without a backup plan personally, but I definitely suggest making the most out of your time that's outside of work, right? Whether that's hanging out with your friends safely, emphasis on safely, or experiencing nature, picking up a new hobby, starting a side hustle, cutting your hair, just trying new things and doing whatever it is that you want to do. It's very important to have an identity outside of work, okay? Again, it's so important to have an identity outside of work, just like how you most likely had an identity outside of your major in school. And when it comes to your dreams, think bigger, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with having big dreams, but if you even want to think about achieving them, you literally have to put in the work. So let's say you have a goal of saving $50,000 in a high yield savings account by the time that you're 30, right? And right now you have literally no money in your bank account. Well, okay. Well, that's your goal. And it's time to make a change and actually start a game plan. Like, start intentionally saving your money, or use more coupons, go out during happy hour rather than regular hours, and whatever it takes to reach that plan. And I personally think that dreams and goals are only too big if you're lazy. If you're not willing to put in the work to become a cardiologist, guess what? Your dream is too big. But if you are willing to go to medical school, study rather than waste your time, put in the hours at the hospital, and whatever else it takes to become a cardiologist, you can do it, and you can do it with flying colors. Your dream is literally not too big. It's attainable, and you're more than capable of doing it. And I mean, I don't want to go off on a spiritual rant because I understand everyone doesn't have the same spiritual beliefs as me, but I also believe that God will direct your path, and you'll know whether this goal or dream that you have is really for you, or if you need to step back and, change your career plan or change your life journey just a little bit. So for the listeners of Graduated and Grown, and specifically to the class of 2021, you got this, okay? It's not going to be easy. You might cry yourself to sleep one night or multiple nights, and you might lose a couple friends. You might work in a field that you didn't think you were. You may not have a job after college, or you may not even feel like you have a purpose in life. I'm here to remind you that you do have a purpose, and that you are capable of doing anything you set your mind to. And again, I don't know who's listening to this podcast, but I am so proud of you and everything that you have endured, whether it was during your 4 years or 6 years or 7 years of college, and everything that you endured before that. And also, I want you to give an extra pat on your back for just getting through this pandemic. Millions of people did not have the opportunity to see today, April 28th, or whatever day you're listening to this. And you were able to see today. So make the most out of your days. I'm getting emotional, but I was on TikTok last night and I came across this. Okay. So yesterday during the day, I came across this TikTok of this girl who lost her boyfriend. And I was like, so sad. Like, you don't really hear stories about young people losing their significant others. I think TikTok, I was like stalking her account, right? I think TikTok saw, oh yeah, she's liking the sad content, right? And I got served a TikTok that was so sad. The song is like, I had all of you, some of you, none of you, and something. It was something like that. Like, the girl who was singing it had a beautiful voice. And people were using that sound to kind of like show the people that have passed away in their lives. And it was mind blowing to see just so many young people lose significant others, lose parents, see young parents lose their kids, see people lose their friends. It was mind blowing, and it was honestly really, really hurtful. And after watching that, I just had the reminder, you really have to live every day like it's your last. And I know that's so cliche. We hear it all the time, but I personally think that is so important. And I'm definitely going to try and be more intentional with my days and show more love and really try to make a difference while I'm here, because I literally don't know the next time, or I don't know the last time I'll take my last breath, Oh, and can I add this one last life lesson or suggestion, I guess? I really would suggest that you guys give back to your community, whether that's through monetary donations to your school. Specifically, like, I went to a HBCU, and I know HBCUs are hurting right now due to, the pandemic. So whether that's giving back to your school, or, a lot of seniors do GoFundMe's around this time because they need to graduate. They need to, clear their balance in order to graduate. So whether that's giving to a friend or a stranger that needs to clear, whether that's being a mentor, whether that's volunteering at homeless shelters, like, I feel like volunteerism and just giving back has really dropped since the pandemic. And I understand part of it because, people are trying to stay home and avoid being around people. But we also have to remember that other people are struggling. If you have a job and you're struggling, think about the people that don't have jobs, that don't have houses, and that are also struggling. So I really encourage you, even though you are going through this transitional period, or even though you're already in this transitional period, please try to give back any way that you can, because helping others is so important. I feel like I'm so off topic, but literally helping others is so important and so beneficial. And you don't know what your small efforts can do in the lives of others. So I encourage you to definitely give back. Even if it can't be monetarily, your hands are so powerful and they can do a lot. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, I think we've reached the end of the episode. Like I said in the beginning, this is the last episode of season 1 of Graduated and Grown. And again, it's been absolutely amazing just sharing my experiences, talking with my friends, and sharing things I've learned, and also learning from other people throughout this whole process. Like, when I started Graduated and Grown, I didn't know that I would learn as much as I have. And I learned a lot when it comes to like adulting for sure, but also just a lot about myself and time management and just the importance of finding passion projects. That's so important. But good news, Graduated and Grown will be back in a few weeks, which is in June. I'm going to take a little break, and that's not far away. And guys, I promise you, season two, the guests, amazing. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for you guys to listen to the episodes. I've recorded a good amount already. The topics, literally amazing. Okay, you do not want to miss out. So if you're not already following or subscribed to the podcast, I definitely suggest doing so. Be sure to go back and listen to the past episodes, especially the episodes with the guests. Those are definitely my favorite episodes, because I think it's so fun and impactful learning from people that are our age, and just people have so many different experiences. So definitely go back and listen to those episodes. And even though there won't be podcast episodes for a few weeks, there will still be content on the Instagram page. So if you don't already follow us on Instagram, what are you doing? You already know what to do. Either click see more in the episode description and you can click on the link, or you can go directly on Instagram and type in @Graduated and Grown, and you will see our lovely, what is that, fuchsia, magenta, and orange logo. And you can follow us. You can keep up with what we got going on over there. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you could please leave a rating for the podcast. That would mean the world to me. Feedback is really, really important. And if you want to give like more detailed feedback, my DMs are open. You can DM me @Ariani, or you can DM the podcast page and look at all my DMs. Yeah. I feel like singing although we've come to the end of the road, but we haven't. We're just taking a little pause. I need to re-up, take a nice like mental break, and really make sure that season 2, like when it comes back, guys, it is going to be fire, okay? So I'm working on that right now. But sayonara, it has been great sharing with you all. Keep going. Congratulations to the class of 2021. You got this. This is so random, but I feel empowered. I hope you feel empowered too. So go off and kill this thing that I like to call adulting. You can do it. I can do it. We all can do it. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Graduated and Grown podcast. I appreciate you so, so much. If you haven't already, be sure to rate this podcast 5 stars and subscribe to the podcast so you can get a notification every single time a new episode is posted each week. Also, don't forget to follow our Instagram @Graduated and Grown so you can learn a little bit more about our guests, about our topics, get some resources, and provide some feedback and or episode ideas for the podcast. All right, y'all, it was your host, Ariane, and I'll talk with you all next week.